Okay, so here we are, and we're going to extend our statistics unit to two-way tables. This is what you're going to see very frequently as you interpret data that has two different variables. So what is a two-way table? Well, a two-way table is used to display and observe a relationship. So remember, we've been talking about scatter plots and relationships between two sets of categorical data. So categories, two different categories, okay? So I want you to list on your paper some examples of categories. You might have colors. You might have pets. You might have money spent. You might have items bought, as long as they're two different categories, okay? Now, a two-way table shows us the frequency or number of times that something occurs, okay? So I'm looking to see that you have some things written down. I said some things that weren't necessarily here. So you should have some of those written down. So this is what a two-way table might look like. So Lexi conducted a survey and asked participants whether they were male or female, and if they preferred summer or winter. Okay, so we've got two categories. We've got males and females, so those are the two types. And then our other category is the season. So what we do in a two-way table, okay, is you notice they said, let me get my highlighter here. Let's highlight this because it said males that prefer summer was 23. That's how we read this, okay? Then we can see females that preferred winter was 15. So what we're doing here essentially is organizing our data easily, okay? And then we can take a look at things. It says to add each row or column to complete that total. So here's how we do this, okay? Males, we're going to go across and its total goes here. Then we do females across and that total goes there. Then we'll do summer, go down, and that total goes there, okay? So, sorry, let me erase this so that we can go through and do this now. So if we look, there were 50 males, there were 50 females, but 58 people said they like winter, and 42 people said they liked, 58 liked summer, and 42 liked winter. So no matter what, your totals should match up because there were just 100 people surveyed. So now we're going to go answer some questions based off this table. So you always want to fill the table out completely, then you can interpret it. So how many males were surveyed? Okay, well, males, so we go look at males. We go across to its total. There were 50. Now, how many females? Well, we're going to go to female. We're going to go across. That was also 50. So do you see how we read these? So how many total people were surveyed? Oops, sorry. Hit the wrong button. So let's go through. We already talked about how many total people were surveyed. There were 100 total. How many people said they prefer summer? So summer, the total number of people was 58. How many people said that they'd prefer winter? Well, that's down here, and that's 42. Now, I'm focusing on just females because this problem now says how many females prefer winter. So I'm going to look at my female category and my winter, and that's 15. Then it asks how many males preferred summer, and that's 23. Okay? So a lot of this is being able to interpret. Another thing we have to be able to do is take the data that we surveyed and actually fill in all the aspects of the table. Here's how I would do this, okay? It's very important that we do this the right way. So we're going to see how many have siblings that live in a one-story house. So we look. So they have siblings in a one-story. So here, this one has siblings, but it's a two-story. So don't count that one. Here's siblings in a one-story. Siblings in a one-story. Siblings in a one-story. And that's it. So if we count that, I've got 4. Okay. Now, I would use a pencil because I'm going to go through and erase this now. Okay. Now I'm going to count how many have siblings in a two-story. So that would be a yes with a 2. Yes with a 2. And I'm going to go through and circle them this way this time and count. So that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what we're saying is I have 11 total that have siblings. Okay. Well, let's erase this because now we're going to have to go to those that do not have a sibling and live in a one-story. So no siblings. So this one is a no with a 1. This one is a no with a 1. This is a no, and this is a no. And they live in a one-story. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we just happen to have 4 again. So I can total this column now is 8. So I'm going to erase again. And we're going to go back now. Now I'm looking for no siblings but live in a two-story. You got to be careful. This is just attention to detail, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So here I'm going to have 3. Okay? Which when I total this is 10. When I total it this way, it's 7. Here's the thing. If I add these, I get 18. So here's how we can check to make sure this is right. If I add these, I should also get 18, and I do. So my columns and my rows, the totals should match up. Okay, so let's transfer what we had. We had 4, 4, 8, 7, 3, 10, 11, 7, 18. So now that I have this, I can answer my questions. How many people surveyed live in a two-story? So I just want to know the total 2 stories. So I need to shift my brain focus and look just at my 2-story column. Okay, so I know my total 2 stories is 10. That's how many people live in a 2-story. So the question changes a bit here. It says, of the people with siblings. So I'm going to shift what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the row with siblings. So those that have siblings, I want to go this way. Okay. How many of them live in a 2-story? And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, says that there are 7 people that have siblings and live in a 2-story. Okay, last, the question asks how many, right, surveyed did not have siblings. So we're just asking how many total don't have siblings. That's it. So they want your total number of no siblings. This was a 3. So no siblings, we want the total. That would be 7 people did not have siblings. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go through right now, pause the video. I want you to count how many 6th graders like video games. So that means I am looking for 6th graders with video games. That total is going to go here. Pause now and do this on your own. Okay, so I'm going to look for your video games and your grades to see that you guys did that on your own. It's just totaling and creating a box. Here's what I want to do now. Let's complete this table, except we kind of have to think different. I know my total here is 50, and that of my right-handed, there were 23 that liked pancakes. So how can I figure out how many waffles there were? If I have my total, which my total is 50, I know pancakes was 23. And I knew that I got that by doing 23 plus something to give me my total. So to solve, I actually subtract. So if I subtract 23, I would find out that x equals 27. So 27 people like waffles. So I got to look here. I really can't do anything on this left-handed column. The reason is I don't have enough information. But there is enough information to go start filling in other areas. So you can take your pick, okay? You have the ability to figure out how many left-handed people prefer pancakes. We can shift our focus now and go this way and go this column and do the same thing we just did. If I have 58 total and I subtract 23, I'd end up with 35. Well, now I can go do my total here and get 50. I can also do my total here, which I could have done prior to get a 2, carry the 1, 42, so that no matter what, I'm at 100, okay? Same thing. Let's fill this in. We now have more rows added, but go and do what you can do. What can I do? Well, I can figure out how many blondes like mountains, because I know 90 minus 36. Remember, I make this a 10, I borrow, this becomes a 4, and a 54. Here, I can go brunettes. I can find my total. I can add those so that I end up with 100 brunettes. I can also find my total of reds. When I add that, I get 70, okay? I can find my total with black hair, which is 100 minus 59. Let me show you this because these are the mistakes we make. This is a 10, this becomes a 9, and this is a 0. So 1 and a 4 gives me 41. Now all I have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is find my totals, okay? This is where it's okay to take a calculator and do 36 plus 58 plus 27 plus 41 and get 162. Then 54 plus 42 plus 43 plus 59 and get 198. Now, if I do 162 plus 198, that gives me 360. Make sure that this column equals 360, and it does. So what I want you to do now, I did the hard part filling in. So all of this you have filled in. I want you to answer these questions based off our table, okay? So what I'm going to be looking for, ladies and gentlemen, is the table I asked you to complete about the grade level and the sports they like, as well as the questions you were supposed to answer for the last 2 tables. In order to receive the full credit, those all need to be answered.